All right. Yeah. What's going on, guys? My name is Brock. I am the CEO, co-founder here with Connor of Thumos. Our journey kind of starts together back in naval special warfare, and that's really the genesis of this company. Myself, I'm born and raised from the Midwest out in Chicago. Come from a small family, just my sister, myself, and then my parents. Dad was a retired firefighter, so I've been here in San Diego now for the last decade with the military. Now that I'm finally out, looking forward on this next journey of really fighting the war on brain decay. And so with that being said, if you want to.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm Connor Secor. I'm the COO at Thumos, originally from Kenosha, Wisconsin, so not too far from Brock over there in the Midwest. Grew up wrestling, playing baseball, just loving contact sports in general and martial arts, and grew up having epilepsy. Grew up having people in my life that had mental health crisis, and we're really here to get down to the origins of all that, and brain health is mental health, and really just make a product that works for the people.
Yeah, it's crazy to hear your story growing up. Mine wasn't exactly like that, but it was definitely very, I would say, athletics driven. Playing football, baseball. Kids would get concussions, but it wasn't anything that was really talked about at that time. And to really see the progression of where we're at today with brain health and cognitive health, and just the evolution of that in sports is incredible. Because when I was playing football growing up, if you got a concussion, there's a high chance if you were a good player, you were probably back in on the next down. And so now it's not so much that way, and we're talking about CTE and TBI and all these other things that are really encouraging, and to kind of see too how we're adding to that journey of people that are never out to fight. You just got to put your brain in the right environment. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we've made strides in society, but we're still not there, right?
Yeah.
I feel like brain health is looked at such a clinical lens, and brain health is really lifestyle and everything you do in your day to day. And it doesn't have to be so clinical. It could be a daily tool in your toolbox like we did with Thumos.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of so the company's name is Thumos, right? And so when you look up the word Thumos, there's a definition. It's a Greek word that's the fire within, the warrior spirit, and that's great. But to go beyond just the pages is really it is a lifestyle. It's you're not out to fight if you're struggling mentally or with your brain. You're taking the right supplements to put your brain in the right environment to thrive. You're hanging out with people, having that social aspect of what's so important for each and every one of our own brain journey, and then getting outside and being active and finding what you're passionate about. Whether I love playing chess, or you do jujitsu. It's this you never arrive mentality, and you just keep pushing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we brought. I mean, like you said, into the company, right? It's the fire in the belly. It's the fire to do more in your life. And yeah, I mean, even you, I was really inspired by you studying for your MBA. We're on deployment, and you're taking like literally all your free time to go study and to take that step further. And yeah, I was just inspired by you. I always had the sense to further my education more, and do a graduate program. But yeah, seeing you and how hard you worked to go to an Ivy League school, the number one school in the whole world. I mean, it's just really inspiring, especially after all the dingers we've taken. I don't know how you did it, but yeah, good on you, man.
Well, I don't know who I tricked at the admissions, but somebody made a mistake and let me in. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
I remember those studying for like hours on that ship as we were going back up to Alaska for the second time. And man, that deployment cycle, we were gone more than we were even home before deployment, it felt like. And so, yeah, just putting in that work kind of taught me a lesson of just like taking the steps forward, like we were talking about today in your car on the way here, of just a lot of like these great moments come from just moving forward. Just take that step forward. And to think that, yeah, I'm at Wharton's Business School. I'm the guy that almost didn't graduate high school. I'm the guy that, the school called my parents because I missed so many days. I mean, I can't remember what my GPA was, but I'm sure it was lower than everybody who's watching. My parents didn't go to school. My mom and dad didn't really have much guidance for me with college. And so school was never really this like academic achievement that I really longed for. I'd rather be outside playing sports or skateboarding and snowboarding. And to just see where I'm at now, the small choices we make over time, they add up. Now I'm around so many incredible classmates that are all better than me. And by being around them, it's making me that much more better. And so just the power of show me your friends and I'll show you your future. It's so, so important. But dude, that means a lot that you would say that. And even for you, man, I remember just as we were kind of getting out of special operations, you were kind of on the fence of what do I do next? Do I get a job? Do I go to school? And to kind of see you at UNLV, crushing, doing business school. You're young. You got so much road ahead of you, dude. It's inspiring to see that too, man.
Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. And we say the Wisconsin motto forward because we really just have no other option, right? But yeah, same thing with me. My mother was the first person in my family to graduate college. No one else did. I was the second to get my bachelor's. I'm going to be the first to do an actual graduate program with my MBA. And it's just the fire in the belly to do more. But yeah, we didn't really have much of an option, getting out. You either stay in and kind of deal with all the problems that you have, brain trauma related, or you step forward. And, I really think we've been rewarded in that sense, stepping forward and just being that voice for other people, other veterans, because I know they need it. We have a mental health epidemic, and it really stems from brain trauma. And, I have no regrets. I'm really happy I took this step forward with you, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more we're on this journey with Thumos, we're realizing that this is more than just a brain health supplement. It's almost our ministry in the sense of we're giving samples out to people in the streets, outside of gyms or wherever, and people are starting to open up about what they're going through or what they've been through. And it's not so much of this transaction of hey, do you like the ingredients? Do you like the flavor? The science is there. But it's more of this community piece of people that are hey, this is very important, and we bonded with so many people. I mean, at literally tears at some point with some of these people, and it's been so just impactful and empowering to know that hey, we are making an impact with Thumos. We are here to fight the war on brain decay. Mental health is brain health, and brain health is mental health, and they're intertwined, and so. To see all the stories of the people that we've met so far is really inspiring to see, the stories that have yet to be told.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we're seeing a broader sense, right? When we first thought of brain decay, you think of dementia, Alzheimer's. But brain decay can be really where your mental health is as well. That's decaying your mind and really having a negative feedback on your life, brain fog, fatigue, things of that nature. I mean, I think those are all signs of brain decay, and especially with the rise in dementia and Alzheimer's and mental health, we have to take those symptoms seriously.
Yeah, and if you think about it in just a more modern day sense of the term brain rot becoming a thing now, and that was really big in 2025, and it's still big now. We're writing blogs all the time, and we just wrote that last blog that was talking about brain rot. And just the social media, endless scrolling, and the dopamine hits, and the attention span issues, and the selective hearing now, and it's all intertwined in the environment that we're putting our brains in. It's so crucial that we give our brains time to really process the information, to decompress, and not just be stimulated over and over and over again. And then to just, consume caffeine at egregious amounts, then to just get more dopamine from going back on your phone. And I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. I catch
we all
myself.
Are. Yeah, we all are.
We have notifications nonstop, grabbing our attention, checking up on emails, checking up on whatever. That, brain rot has become this new big term and trend that people are actually starting to pay attention to.
I think it's the acknowledgement too, that step forward and the self observation of something going on is the first step to really realize. Because I feel like the more advanced we get, the less we become, right? So in the age of AI and our literacy rate and everything, we need to take a step forward for our brain health, for literally the evolution of ourselves.
Yeah, and I one just example, short story of that step forward is. I recently just went on a mountain climbing trip with some of my buddies in my class. It was, I was completely underprepared. I was like the Frankenstein guy in the group of like, I'm borrowing some of this guy's gear, borrowing some of that guy's gear. I got his headlamp, I got his harness, I got his shoes. And, we got to this point, it was a beautiful hike up in Washington. And we were going to the summit of Schutzkin. And we got to the point where we're kind of doing some small glacier passes, and now we're doing what's called scrambling, and that's kind of when now you're on like your hands and knees kind of crawling. And then there's parts where it's legit rock climb. And so as we're scaling this mountain and we're getting higher and higher, I get to this point where I'm on this wall and I am looking out, and we're like above the clouds, probably 7,000 feet up. And I'm stuck. And I'm looking, and I don't see a hand placement. I'm looking, I don't see a hand placement. I don't see a foot placement. My bag is like 50, 60 pounds, right? And so time is playing into it. And I'm just realizing, like, man, I'm stuck here. And immediately, boom, I'm thinking about my daughter. I'm thinking about my wife. And I'm like, what am I doing on this mountain? What have I gotten myself into? Like, one wrong grab and it's a loose rock and it's over, that. Those were the stakes in that moment. And thank God, one of my classmates is a world-class climber, competed his whole life, won a bunch of competitions, and he came underneath me and coached me through it. He probably saved my life in that moment because I couldn't figure it out, and it was a zero-sum win or lose kind of moment for me. But what happened was, when I got home from that trip, I had this weird like boost of like love for my family that I didn't have before that trip. And not that, obviously, that I didn't love my family, but when I came home, I just wanted to hold my wife and I just wanted to hold my daughter, and that's it. And so by taking that step outside of climbing this mountain, really living Thumos, it changed me. And I came back a changed man from that. And I think that those are the instances that we're all about, and we're always trying to talk to people to see, like, what are you doing, for your brain health? You look at Blue Zones, community is such a big piece of that, that there's so many pieces, and Thumos is just another tool really in the toolkit for people.
Yeah, I mean, that's your Elysium, right? Like, through Thumos, we want you to find your Elysium, your highest state of happiness, whatever that may be. And yeah, that's your family. That's like being the best person you can be for your family, for your daughter, be the best husband you can be, but also live your life as well. So you're not like stationary and you're not held to one point in your life. You're being a whole man at that point. So yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. So I think like the number one question, which is probably very obvious, is when we're out and we're sharing Thumos with people, is what is it? If you want to kind of explain Thumos to those who are listening.
You can look at Thumos as a multivitamin for your brain, right? Overall gut-brain communication and support through prebiotics from the agave plant, and then brain support nutrients, and nutrients that are really overlooked, to be honest. Basic cognition has always been there, right? Synergistically working together, L-theanine, cognizin for overall brain health and cognitive function. But yeah, it's just a multivitamin for your brain. It's a tool in the toolbox. And it's always been through our time, in the service, and how we really regulated our nervous system and supported ourselves was gut-brain communication, impacting the nervous system directly. And yeah, it's been amazing for my health, my mental health. I've really gotten things back in order after getting out, and yeah.
Yeah, there's so much research showing how important it is for your gut to be on point and healthy to translate to your brain being healthy. You talk about the books we've read, Brain Maker, and we could go on, but really the science behind that and how we're addressing that in Thumos with L-glutamine and agave inulin, which is a prebiotic fiber feeding the healthy gut bacteria. L-glutamine, which is obviously a historically, a muscle recovery supplement, is also great for strengthening your stomach lining. In addition to the other 6 ingredients, it's 8 ingredients total, and 5 of them are already naturally occurring in your body. We just now have them at clinical dosages. And so that's the other thing that I think people miss out on is, you buy a brand because maybe it says something on the front, and maybe that's something that you want to hear. But when you flip the bag over, you realize quickly, if you know what you're talking about, oh, wow, that's very underdosed. Or, hey, that's not really all that I thought it was going to be. And with us, we're not using anything new trendy as far as ingredients. We're going back to really the basics of the science behind it, of the decades of research, and saying, hey, all these case studies are saying at these dosages, you're going to see these results. Okay, cool. Well, let's have it at those dosages. And so that's what gets me so excited when I see our friends, family, and the orders coming in all across the country of people who are trying Thumos out, of knowing like, hey, like you're getting clinical dosages where some of these other brands out here, yeah, they have the same ingredient maybe, but they're significantly underdosed.
Yeah, I mean, we're taking a couple steps back to go like a million steps forward when it comes to overall brain health and cognition. So yeah, it's just it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see the feedback that we've gotten, right? And it just proves our point that like we have a cellular problem in America. Like our mitochondria, dysfunction, and we just really need to support ourselves on a cellular level, and that's exactly what Thumos does.
Yeah. I'd like to maybe even take a step back and go into like the beginning of us actually formulating and coming up with Thumos. So we're a veteran-owned and operated company.
Yep.
So what does that mean? Well, I would say first, that means we're not VC funded. We're not here to create a product that goes right to Sprouts, right to Target, has great margins, and we're here to make money, and we're here to make other people money.
Yep.
It's really quite the opposite. It's a bootstrapped endeavor of, hey, we were the patient once, and now we're here to fill that gap that we experienced coming back from deployments, where they would have a world-class medical team to assess us, talk about, hey, take creatine, which creatine's incredible for your brain. But there was this gap of like, there wasn't something that they were like, hey, take this every day, and it puts your brain in the right environment to thrive.
We're just those salty consumers, right? We were just, going through a hard time looking for a tool in the toolbox that just really wasn't there at the time. But yeah, I love it. When people ask us about brain health, and yeah, we're not doctors, but we've been the patient and we understand what has worked for us. And if it works for us, it can work on a healthy person even better.
Yeah. And I think what I love too is one of the advisors of the company is a classmate of mine, right, at Wharton. And he's a scientist, right? And so he runs his own bioengineering firm. He speaks the language. He can dissect the PubMed case studies. And so Connor and I were able to kind of just share our heart with him of like, hey, we love these ingredients. This is what we're seeing. This is the mission behind Thumos. We're here at the end of the day to stand upon the foundation of fighting brain decay. Can you help us dial that in? And then he comes back with a 50-page PDF of just here's all the research, like 200 cited sources of PubMed, and really dialed in the vision that we had for Thumos.
Yeah, it was amazing. He just shows up to barely any calls, but he comes in and just drops in this whole literature review. And yeah, he's amazing. And I think it just goes to show, like, you can change the world with a concept. You can change the world with one little idea. And you can really bring that forward, and people can help you. And yeah, I think we formed a great team to be able to execute this. And yeah, people may see just us behind the scenes, but really we have a whole team working behind, just fighting the war on brain decay and bringing the best products to market possible.
Yeah, I remember early on when we were in the debt space, and we had just like tubs of these ingredients, and it was always like this thing of, hey, have you seen this new ingredient? Have you heard the research on this new ingredient? Hey, I read this book and it talks about this ingredient. And we just kind of ended up collecting this mass of just like tubs of different ingredients. And to see now where we're at of like, hey, we've tried all these different things, and now we've dialed it into 8 ingredients that, like you said, think of it like a multivitamin for your brain. You take it day in and day out, and over time you're putting your brain in the right environment to thrive. Is super exciting. So we have people at the teams, our buddies at the teams that are taking it. We have athletes that are competing in BJJ, that are taking it. Mm-hmm. My friends who are academics that are doctors, lawyers, they're working on Wall Street. They're taking it. We're taking it before our exams, and they're loving it. It's just really cool to see the evolution of putting in the hard work early on and just seeing that kind of form over time into what we have today, which is fighting that war on brain decay.
Yeah, we're just starting to realize, like, your story is your purpose, and you need to use your story as the vessel to help others when you recognize that something is wrong. So yeah, we were just some salty consumers that needed something, and Yeah, I mean, I got my first real bad traumatic brain injury in 2019. Immediately, they're telling me to go on creatine, fish oil, CoQ10, vitamin D, and I'm starting to collect like this natural toolbox of things that could help me in that time. And yeah, in the market, like Alpha Brain was super popular, the mushrooms were super popular, and they may have their place and they may be like a short-term band-aid, but no, with Thumos, we're focused on like actual systems at hand, actual bodily systems, and yeah, it's just amazing, man. I mean, just going to the story more of us just being those consumers, like the brain injuries that we've had. I mean, dude, like our last deployment, I think I counted 6, 7 traumatic brain injuries that were just like back to back to back. I mean, yeah, we can even just start from the last one. I mean, our first real bad underway at really low sal. You remember that one?
Oh, the storm?
Hey, you're good. You're good. But Broc and I were already going through some pretty harsh underways. We've always been a winter det. In the winter, off the coast of San Diego and the Pacific can be real rough. Nothing like the East Coast, and we've seen the East Coast, Chesapeake Bay, and
oh my gosh,
and the Atlantic,
like
and it's just
machine.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to put it. It comes from any direction. Broc and I are constantly on point.
6 to 8 feet all day.
Yep. And being a throttleman, I mean, dude, I'm selfish driving. I like driving. I like seeing the waves coming. But looking over at you, just looking over at the nav screen, and you constantly like bashing your face while you're trying to work the navigation system. Yeah, I'm
Shout out to the East Coast guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, for real. And yeah, that was pretty funny, at least like the images that I have of you just like literally smashing your face on the on the nav screen.
Trying to put the points in as we're going through this washing machine, and it's just not it's like literally like a rodeo bowl at a bar.
Yep.
But like try to like text somebody as you're on this bowl.
Oh yeah, never.
Is the best way I could put it.
Never happening. Yeah, never happening. But yeah, we're up doing some dead reckoning training, some navigation training, and I mean that's what the brutal nature of being on the boats, right? Like when you're out there, you're stuck out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had some trim tabs break and started just launching ourselves 20 feet up in the air and could barely get on step. But yeah, I mean just those impacts, 25,000 pound boat, 2 700 horsepower engines. I mean it's just absolutely brutal. So we came back and we were in a concussion protocol for a little bit.
Yeah, we were in a tow, right, on the way back.
Or I'm talking about the first one.
Oh, the original.
Yeah,
one.
you remember the first one because that happened about 3 weeks. 3 weeks after.
Yeah, we have this thing of getting caught in storms.
Yeah,
and then just paying the man.
Well, they've done studies. I mean, too. Like we have worse CTE than football players. And if we talk about who has the worst CTE, football players, boxers, yada, yada, yada. You would think it's MMA fighters, but it's really these people that take brain injuries, don't get knocked out, have to keep going. Yeah. And it's like this accumulative impact and force that you take, right? So, yeah, we were in concussion protocol after that. You remember driving the 10-ton back?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and we just had like 2 or 3 energy drinks on like a 3-hour drive back, and yeah, the brain fog after concussion is just unbelievable. The depression after concussion is just unbelievable. And we understand what it's like to damage the brain, right? Yeah. And we understand what it's like to come back from that. So I think people see that on an acute level, on a smaller scale, right? And maybe people have influxes in their mood or brain fog and things of that nature. But like oxidative stress is really broad. Oxidative stress can be from, blunt force trauma, PSI overload. Dr. Daniel Amen talks about it in his book, The End of Mental Illness, but like literally chemical exposure and the brain scans that he's done on people with chemical exposures, these factory workers or these people that have been in car accidents, and like how that leads to a lifelong battle of mental illness and all these problems. I mean, it's just so broad, and we realize like our problems that we've had in the military are also very prevalent in modern day society, and that's why I think our mission is so great, because I just think it's a versatile product. Whether you're thinking about cognitive performance or athletic performance, you kind of talked about L-glutamine like it was a muscle recovery supplement, but it also strengthens your gut lining and like fuels your gut lining cells. So yeah, we're just going to show the systems at hand, how important they are, and how important supporting the gut-brain axis, whether it's your immunity, your stress response, just overall health. Really, I think that is the main system how to take care of your body in 2026 is the gut-brain axis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something that's not been really tapped into much. I would say too, I just want to kind of like paint that picture just a little bit more of us on the boat. So if you don't know much about SWIC, we operate essentially offshore racing boats, or what we do, the twin turbo diesel engines. They go really fast, really quick. And so they're made for speed. And if you're throttling it and you don't do a good job, you can do what's called stuffing the boat, and that's digging the nose down into the water. And that's what gets dudes hurt, is when you stuff, everybody flies forward, and then some dude's arm's broken, another dude busted his teeth out, or your helmet's all cockeyed to the side. And now imagine going through a storm as fast as possible, because that's what we do, right? You're there to go hard. You're not there to play it safe. You want to go hard within reason, and you're wearing a 30 pound kit. If you have mags, ballistic plates, M4 slung, and then you have that 5-poundish ballistic helmet, and then
the
you have
nods forward too.
Exactly. And so the constant whiplashing with all of this going on, and then just so you know, we're out there for 8 to 10, sometimes 12 hours. I remember one of our buddies when we were finally back to the pier wrapping up, he was slurring. He couldn't formulate his sentences. And we had to just kind of set him to the side, and we're like, dude, like, drink some water and just relax. Like, we'll get these boats all tidied up, and let's get you back so you can go to sleep and get some rest. It's a real it's a real put out evolution.
Yeah, the problems that you face as a SWIC are very versatile and broad. Because I don't know about you, I'm still cold, like, all the time. I'm still cold. Even in Vegas, I'm like ice cold, like wearing my hoodies and stuff. I just think we're used to it now, like being in an open cockpit boat, being up in Alaska, being up on the East Coast, or anywhere out at night or in the middle of the morning, just like freezing cold. So, yeah, you get that. I mean, we face they've done studies on us. I mean, we face just about 30 million whiplash events over our span. If you have 2 or 3 deployments,
years and years
underneath your belt, and there's still not data on necessarily what that can do for you. But yeah, the New York Times article with that senior chief, literally, rest in peace. But he was schizophrenic. He was thinking the government was coming after him, and he was having some real bad problems at home. And really, yeah, just delusional and schizophrenia. And it's just really sad to see. But that's what we could see in our older GWAT era type veterans, right? Because our advancement in weapons and everything else has gone farther, but our brains have stayed the same. Our medevac platforms have gotten better, right? Our trauma centers have gotten better. So people are taking these hits, they're getting saved, but now the battle that they face is at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that's our mission too, right? Kind of this post, I know we came in and, you came in 2015, right? Ish.
Yeah.
2019 for me. So we're like a little late GWAT era, didn't get a piece of it, but now like we served the GWAT era, personnel that really served their time. And, they served us on such a mass level. And now it's time to serve you and serve your brain. And, if the VA isn't helping enough, and I know the VA is doing a lot better when it comes to overall recognition and solutions to these problems. But yeah, once again, we just want to give you that tool in the toolbox to calm your nervous system, provide your brain with the things it needs, and really just bring you back that fire for life. And, we talk about Thumos, the fire in the belly.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine that fire that you had going in the military, and then taking the damage and the cumulative stress and everything. We want that same fire for when you were younger, And it's a battle to recover. It's not only a battle to go through what you go through in the military, but it's a battle to even step forth into recovery. Yeah. And, we're talking about the Elysium, finding your Elysium in your highest state of happiness, like, your daughter, your wife, that's what we're looking for. And, you need to support your brain to be the best version of you. And that's exactly why we made Thumos.
Yeah. And you talk about now, like we were at the end of the GWAT era, right? So so like I came in a little bit before you, but I didn't see any of that myself either. But now we're here serving those dudes,
Exactly.
those men and women. And you're not going to see us on billboards. You're not going to see us all over town. But where you will find us are these nonprofits that are rehabilitating these double, triple quads, amputees, people that are getting back at it, not giving up on life, people that really sacrificed an immense amount for our freedoms. That's where you're going to find Thumos. That's where we're at right now. We're in there giving these people bags so that they can get their mind and brain in the right environment, like we say, so it starts thriving. And that fires me up.
Yeah, and a shout out to the people that we have organizations that we have partnerships with, Adaptive Training Foundation, Veteran Social Club. I mean, we knew that these problems were prevalent in these parts and these nonprofits, but I didn't know, once I really got to know the people, that's when this emotional connection to this product even grew stronger for me as a co-founder. And I know you've seen it with all them, meeting them, and yeah, just the problems that they face. I mean, Adaptive Training Foundation, what absolute warriors you got to be to not only go through what you just went through, but to step forth into that recovery stage, not quitting, waking up every day and just choosing to be an absolute warrior. You know, these people, you know, I praise God every day that I got all my limbs and, you know, that I'm healthy, and I just got to deal with a little bit of brain trauma and torn shoulders and things of that nature. But I mean, these people seriously have obstacles in their way, and just how Adaptive Training Foundation is changing their mindset and giving them the tools that they need is just, it's amazing. It's a blessing. And yeah, I couldn't find better partners than Veteran Social Club too, and Adaptive Training Foundation. Yeah. VSC with all that they do. I mean, they constantly have veterans out there building a community, getting with one another. I mean, amazing story with TJ. We'll probably bring him on here one of these days, but yeah, just him losing his friends to isolation during COVID. It was just really touching. And yeah, I've gotten on here and talked about isolation and brain damage with Dina, and how horrible it can be for your mental state, and you know, the power of neuroplasticity that we talk about, moving through time and space and new environments. And yeah, I think we're onto something.
Yeah. Well, if I could maybe just share a story more back to, I guess, of what we did as SWIX.
Yeah.
Just to kind of further really cement why we are here and what we've gone through. Again, like, we're not this VC-backed endeavor. We're here because we were the patient. But if you remember, a few years ago, we were up in the Arctic region, and we were conducting different exercises. And again, just a classic caught in a storm situation. We had to go out and perform. And I just remember when we were pushing out to begin doing what we were doing, it had to be like 35 to 40 knot winds. It was every bit of maybe 30 degrees outside. It's raining sideways. The way our boats are set up is that they're open cockpit, right? So what does that mean? That means like you're exposed to the elements. So as we're pushing out, you know, water's crashing over us. We're doing one objective after another objective. This water's probably the same, every bit of 30 degrees, 40 maybe max. Like,
yeah, it's not even cold,
freezing.
It's just pain.
Yeah.
It's not cold, it's just pain.
Yeah, it just hurts when you touch it. And there are points where you got to get in the water and do some things, right? And so just an immense amount of pain. But we were out there for 8 to 10 hours, you know, in an 8 to 10 foot sea state, in an Arctic storm. And by the time we came back, our one buddy was completely hypothermic. Again, everybody on that boat, including myself, was like semi-concussed at the very least from just the overwhelming amount of whiplash and just head traumatic events that we experienced the whole time that we were out there, that they were like, hey, for the next 3 days, you guys just need to rest and relax. But that was it. And so now what we have is, from that experience, now we have Thumos, right? And so now we can get this into those guys' hands that are coming after us, that are doing the job that's still going on, you know?
Yep.
We left, but that job is still going on, and they may be pushing even harder at this point. But now we have something that we can get into the commands and to the teams, and we're already doing, and allowing these guys to really come back from a hard day, you know, and first thing in the morning, they're taking another scoop. The next day, they're taking another scoop. And it's that multivitamin approach to their brain, getting them in that right environment for their brain to thrive.
Yeah, and I don't think I've done it justice too, like describing some of the ingredients and how much depth of thought that we've had, with, I don't know if you remember it, but we had that coach come in, or that doctor, and he was talking about brain trauma and what happens after you take a blunt force hit, right? Potassium lowers, calcium floods the brain, it puts oxidative stress on the brain. And we were just looking at it as a concept approach. We were already in the space of like, hey, there's nutrients that can produce energy and ATP. There's ingredients that can, be neuroprotective. What else is out there? Is there anything that could help this calcium overload? And that's exactly what taurine does, right? It balances your brain electrolyte-wise and balances the calcium in your brain after traumatic brain injury. So we really thought about this at an in-depth level. Especially with the other kind of heavy hitters, CoQ10. I mean, they put me on that right away for improving brain blood flow. Jeez, dude, taking too many. But yeah, even with CoQ10 and improving brain blood flow, and producing ATP in the brain, acetylcholine, right? Improving brain DNA synthesis and repair after traumatic brain injury, producing ATP as well, and helping your dopamine system and in your neurons in your brain. I mean, it's just, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, and the more we're blogging and writing about brain health and putting research together, the more I'm just really realizing, like, thank God we have brain plasticity.
Mm-hmm.
Brain plasticity, you are not out to fight. If you got a traumatic brain injury, you just need to put your brain in the right environment. That's all you just keep getting after it, putting the right ingredients, sleep, don't drink alcohol, hydrate. There's a whole lot of things that you need to be doing, but you're not out to fight and you can recover. And from the brain plasticity side, there's really, from the research it's showing, it's not like when you get to a certain age, it's like you're done. Like it carries through your entire life. You can still improve your brain even into your senior years. And for me, that was just incredibly encouraging to realize.
Yeah, getting out of your comfort zone is neuroplasticity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your brain is systematic and it gets used to things that it sees day to day. I think that's also why older people tend to have a harder time with neuroplasticity. They stay at home, they have the same routine. I know my grandma puts on the same shows every day, and
God bless her.
Yeah, right. She's on Thumos, she's loving it. But I mean, it's just, how much is school and networking and going through business? Because we knew nothing about business is. You got your undergrad in economics, right?
Yeah,
But
2012.
Yeah,
zero relatability to today.
But still, I had I had the entrepreneur spirit, but I had no entrepreneur skills.
Yeah.
So I think just learning something new, especially with jiu-jitsu too, and neuroplasticity, and just getting out there and learning new things. I just think it's so important. So, when we say, I mean, we really do drill at home, put your brain in the right environment to thrive.
Yeah.
But we're talking about in other senses too. I think that's why these social clubs, Ethos Social Club or Wellness Club that me and Dina are a part of, and we want to make an impact in. It's just, just getting in new places, getting out of your comfort zone. Even today, I mean, we were nervous in the car. We were kind of going over like what we were gonna say.
Yeah.
But this is a new experience for us. And
this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly, dude. In the mirror, like doing our hair.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
I hate myself.
Nah, we're good, dude. But just getting out and doing something new. It's just like it's just that dopamine hit. I mean, even with you climbing, have you ever climbed like that?
No, that was my first time. The only rock climbing I've ever done is in like a gym.
Yeah, exactly. Bouldering.
Yeah.
Just getting jacked.
Helping 8 feet up off of a pad. Okay, I can let go.
Just helping the torn shoulders.
Dude,
It really is a good workout though. But
fantastic workout.
But I can't emphasize enough how important just getting out of your routine is, and your nervous system when it comes to these injuries and these overall problems too. And there's more and more research coming on board with your nervous system and related to injuries. And I just think once you take care of the brain, once you take care of the gut, your second brain, everything starts to unravel and really work for you.
Yeah. And dude, I couldn't agree more with just the importance of really pushing your brain, right? Finding what it is that you enjoy doing that causes you to think through complex situations, whether it's a crossword puzzle. I like to play chess or going to school. You know, what was really good for me was taking accounting. That made me think really hard all the time. And I hope I never have to take that course again. But putting your brain in an environment where it's constantly having to perform and it's not easy, you're not just going into an autopilot mode. You're there, you're present, and you're pushing yourself day in and day out. Is like, you know, we wrote another article about neural fitness, and neural fitness is really your central nervous system playing into your brain, and how important it is to exercise that. You know, exercise is great. That's physical. It's great to hit the weights. It's great to get blood pumping, running. All that stuff is great, but there should be an element that is becoming more of a trend, which is called neural fitness. And Thumos plays into that so heavily because Thumos is like another piece that neural fitness isn't giving you. And it's the supplementation side. Again, it's 5 ingredients of 8 that are already in your body. Like there's nothing foreign or crazy about this, but we're getting them to clinical dosages. So when you're sleeping right, if you're doing neural fitness, taking Thumos, taking creatine, not over drinking, hydrating. Imagine doing that over 30 years. What are you going to look like when you're a senior citizen? You know, what are you avoiding at that point?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with mental health too. It's just, I mean, we brought it up, right? Like when I have a torn shoulder, I get an MRI, I get a scan. But if you have something wrong in your brain, you never get a scan. You know, they symptom cluster, you know, they focus on serotonin, and the brain is just so much more complex than that, right? And I think when you focus on the systems at hand, you're focused on your brain, and you're really capturing everything that could kind of be wrong at that point. So yeah, just a broad and simple approach is what we brought to this product. And yeah, we hope it helps you every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even just going more into the studies and the research of it. I mean, I love the gut-brain connection approach. You know, we picked agave. Even everything that we have is like symbolism, right? Like agave is a plant that, you know, shouldn't survive in the desert, but it does, you know? So
Yeah.
Even the agave plant has a little thumos in it. And, yeah, it just feeds the healthy bacteria that produces these neurotransmitters in your brain to really help you thrive every day. So yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait to get into stick packets, right? We're coming out with water.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, we went to market. You see lemon, lime, and blood orange, just really testing the product, collecting data on it. But yeah, it's time to take the next steps. We got watermelon, lime coming out in the fall in stick packets, in a box. And I just really can't wait for the next steps in this company.
Yeah, and then too with the watermelon lime, we're adding 50 more mgs of citicoline.
Yep.
So right now we have 200 mgs of citicoline in Thumos, which is great. There's a lot of clinical research that shows what that does for you. But at 250, there's even more research that shows, hey, A, B, and C is also attributed, right? So as we scale this company, we're making this product just more and more efficacious for the user. I'm taking this. My mom and dad are taking this. Gam's taking this, right?
Yep.
Our boys and the teams are taking this. Like these are
2 scooping.
Oh yeah, these aren't just like, we're not just selling to random people. It's like, no, these are the people we see day in and day out in our lives, and we know every time they're taking a scoop of Thumos, we're making an impact in their brain health. You know, the science is there. Like we don't have to sell people on the PubMed case studies. Like we can just point them to it. You know, these are all heavily researched ingredients. And so there's power behind that, and it's exciting, you know, as we see the company slowly growing now, the level of impact and reach that we're going to be making one day, it fires me up.
Yeah, sending the elevator back down, right?
Yeah.
You learn something, you have something of value, you know, you bring it back to your people, and that's exactly what we're doing in the military, and the people by us. And you know, my grandma, you know, she's a Midwesterner, right? You know, we know how that diet and lifestyle is. So, yeah, I need to give her something so she can be around.
Culver Butterburger.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're watching this in the Midwest, you know what Culver's is for sure.
Yeah, she's that era that thinks eggs is bad and cigarettes are okay, and yeah,
curves the appetite.
Oh, dude, I'm peeking around the corner. She's putting canola oil on her salad. So no, I'm getting that all out of the house, and yeah, giving her Thumos, and she's loving it too. I can even tell, like, when she talks to me on the phone, I could tell, like, she's got a little spark, you know, in her voice a little bit more, and her cognitive function's better. And yeah, it's just, it was always there, right? With the acetylcholine, I mean, it's been studied since the early 2000s heavily, or really that's where we see the studies coming from. But yeah, CoQ10, taurine.
And again, just so people know, acetylcholine is in your brain already. Your body makes it. It's already in your brain, right? So we're offering you acetylcholine at clinical dosages, right? So not to cut you off, but just think about like the people who, when they get 60, maybe 70, they're starting to experience really kind of just like the lifetime decisions that maybe biologically or maybe influenced by their lifestyle. Now they're having cognitive issues either way. You know, acetylcholine at ultra high dosages, like 2,000 mgs, which is a lot, it was shown to slow down Alzheimer's in patients experiencing it, which is phenomenal, right? So it's not curing it, but to think that you can slow it down from these case studies that are saying, hey, at 2,000 mgs plus, what does it look like when you've been taking things like acetylcholine your entire life?
Yeah.
You know, what are you avoiding down the road?
Keeping your acetylcholine levels high in your brain. So memory, learning, processing, literally what, you know, the older generation has, right? When it comes to, I mean, yeah, my grandma touched the remote and, you know, we were supposed to go to HDMI 1 to HDMI 3 and we're on channel 87 and it's static. You know, we're learning, you know, our brain is just functioning better, cleaner, faster. And I think the older generation, like, you know, when we're older, I think we're going to be so far ahead just because we took the step forward in overall, you know, cellular health and mitochondrial health through these types of ingredients. And yeah, to piggyback off you talking about acetylcholine, I mean, CoQ10 helps produce ATP in the body, right? It transfers, it helps transfer food and produce energy out of it. And yeah, that's really what you see in the older generation is a depletion in ATP, and especially people that have oxidative stress in the brain is very low energy, you know, depression, low energy, low frequency type of thing. So I think raising your energy levels is just overall going to do your body just, you know, an amazing benefit.
And to add to that, you know, CoQ10 doesn't have a good bioavailability, right? Typically 3 to 5% is what your body absorbs, and then it just gets rid of the rest. So we decided that, hey, let's fix that as much as possible. And so now we're using a nanomulsified, right? Which gives us up to an 8x of absorption rate into the blood flow, into the bloodstream, And so we pay attention to all the details, like little things like that matter when you're really stacking something together. And so, you know, as we age, it's the body's natural tendency to produce less of things in your body, like collagen, for example. You know, like it's important that you work out and lift weights because you produce less collagen as you age and bones can get brittle. And so it's just another thing too, with all of these different ingredients like acetylcholine, all these things that are playing in your brain that, you know, by supplementing throughout your life, this isn't like, hey, you take this for 60 days and then you're done. It's like, no, this is like a life commitment. Like I'm choosing to give my body what it needs so that I can live a healthy, long life and, Lord willing, be with my grandkids and be present, you know, not just sitting on the couch, staring off into a screen, but no, out in the backyard, rolling around in the grass. That's the goal.
Yeah. I mean, back to giving your body what it needs to, and back to thinking about the systems. I mean, taurine and CoQ10, vital for heart function overall. You know, taurine helps balance electrolytes that help the heart function. CoQ10 helps produce ATP to help it keep pumping. So yeah, we really focus this in depth, and yeah, it's vital for overall heart function, and what's good for the heart is what's good for the brain. And yeah, we want you to have that athletic performance along with the cognition benefits. And it's a versatile product.
Yeah. And this is, again, something that wasn't just like drafted up over the weekend or over a month or two. Like we lived it for years. And then we decided, hey, when we get out, instead of going to get a job, let's dive more into this. Let's try to make an impact that, you know, it's personal to us. Like this is personal. And shoot, I forgot where I was going with that.
No, you're good. I mean, just, making it personal, having an emotional connection with the people that we talk to. I mean, everyone that we talk to, everyone has brain fog. You know, we got some criers. We get in depth with some mental health, but like overall, overall, we're on like a brain fog topic, right?
Yeah.
And Yeah, exactly. And we kind of talk about when to use Thumos. When is it good? I mean, in the morning, it's amazing for me, but it's really good at that 2 p.m. kind of crash because, adrenaline in the brain. When you wake up, I mean, your brain is flooded with it. And, you need to get that out of there for this caffeine and these other ingredients to work synergistically. So, yeah, that afternoon time period is absolutely perfect for our first responders and people that work these graveyard shifts. It's only 50 milligrams of caffeine. Use that at 3 a.m. When you got to go home and try to get some good sleep too. So we also want to prove that real cellular energy is within. And you don't need 300 milligrams of caffeine a day to provide you with the right energy, right? I mean, we talk about L-theanine, improving alpha brain waves, getting that restful sleep, but also having that calm sense of energy throughout the day. Yeah, it's amazing.
And just like to share one more note on that, we had one of the guys at the Coronado Firehouse texted me on the side and was like, "Hey man, thanks for dropping off those bags. I just want to let you know I had this grinding 48-hour shift. I was taxed. We were getting calls." And he's like, I was taking Thumos, and there was a noticeable difference in my cognitive performance versus just taking a Monster or a coffee, whatever. And he was like, "Dude, you guys just keep doing what you're doing because you're onto something."
Yeah, let's go. I mean, yeah, there's been studies on L-theanine and L-tyrosine working together for working memory under stress, right?
Yeah, I think it was with the Marine Corps that they did the study with.
Yep, in an active shooter drill. So, yeah, just staying cool, calm, collected under pressure and really having the ingredients work with you in a high-stress environment. I mean, that's exactly what we did, right? Adrenaline pumping for 8 to 10 hours. And yeah, whatever you want to do with it, Thumos works with you. And, yeah, just reach that Elysium. Find that Elysium, that highest point of happiness, whatever that may be, because it's the fuel for it. Let's go.
Cool.
Yeah, Broc, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.